Hi guys. We decided to sit outside and have a fire tonight, and instead of waiting until we were done the live, we decided to share the fire with you guys tonight. It's beautiful out here. The weather's like really mild and it's a perfect night to sit around the fire. The only thing is we may not be able to see any comments. Hi, hi. Hi, Mandy.
We decided to...
Yeah, you got to keep the...
Yeah, I was going to try to see if I could...
the volume down.
Tag anybody. Hi, Mandy.
You can probably... let's figure that out. Can we? Oh, yeah, I can. I can do at everybody and let people know we're here. I didn't think I'd be able to do that, but I think I can.
I was hoping I would be able to at everybody.
Yeah, if you...
On,
I can't spell.
I guess I could do
it. That's what happens when you work freaking 80 hours without a day off. Actually, 90 hours without a day off.
So like that, you think that everybody will be able to see it?
Yeah, it should.
Think so?
Wait a minute. No, I don't think that works right.
No.
It should come up as everyone, and it should have a... It shouldn't be somebody's page that comes up.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. We decided to share our fire with you guys tonight. I just spent 90 hours. Actually, more than that. More than that, because I worked every day since last Thursday.
It's been a long...
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks. I don't know. Yeah. I really needed this tonight. And so, I had asked in the group last week for suggestions. You know, what was the question? If a guru dropped out of the sky right now and was able to fix one of your problems, which problem would you fix? And she chose finances. Financial abundance it is.
Financial abundance.
So let's talk about financial abundance.
Financial abundance, I mean, where do you want to start? I think
How can you call it in?
Well, the thing is being able to match your frequency to the abundance you've accumulated. Mm-hmm. When you receive something that is below your frequency and you lose it, usually you can tell during the time you possess it, because you can sense it's not doing you any good while you have accommodated this or these particular kind of things. And so because you are above it, you're not matching with it. It's below your frequency.
So you mean we can't really hold the frequencies of abundance, whether it's financial abundance or another kind of abundance? That doesn't really matter. It's all frequency.
It's all frequency.
So if we can't hold it, if we aren't a match to it.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Correct, yeah. It doesn't matter what.
So if it's too much, we won't be able to hold it for long.
It could be money. It could be your relationship. It could be your relatives. It could be just your career, or
it could just be general well-being,
general
health.
well-being. So everything works on that same level of tuning into the correct frequency, just like you tune into the correct frequency of a radio.
I'm gonna have to back up a little bit before my legs catch on fire. Yeah. Sorry.
It's getting a little big now. Yeah, the fire. But it's, you can always tell whether it is serving you or if it's not serving you. That's the thing. And if you are uncomfortable, if you are affected by it in a negative way, and you're not matching its frequency, nobody wants to lower their frequency to match it. Nobody wants to backpedal, So,
no, but sometimes it happens anyway.
It does happen, but I don't think it happens with intention. I think people...
No, people don't backpedal intentionally. It's always they're trying to get forward and they wind up backpedaling.
Right.
Want me to tell you guys how I did it just recently?
Yeah.
Here's I just turned the camera around. You got to turn the camera around again.
Hi again. Hold on.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. I see it. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so recently, I wanted to create abundance in my life, financial too, but it was abundance in a lot of ways, and I wanted to channel it through a certain channel, and I chose the channel, but I didn't anchor in all of the details, and I didn't anchor in all of the important foundational work. I thought I did, but I was too rushed. And I just wanted it so badly that I tried to jump in head first. And you know what happened? What happened was I was open wide to receiving, but I had resistance around how I was going to receive it. So guess what happened? I got lots and lots of overtime. And so I got the abundance, but it came in a way that wasn't how I wanted it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's what happens when we don't have the foundations in place. And I think that's the foundations for manifestation. It's the foundations for anything that you want to manifest. That's how it works, right? So you have to be anchored in, and you have to be grounded, and you have to be in a state of allowing and listening to spirit, not trying to make things happen in the way you want them to happen. And I think that instead of being in a state of allowance, that I was like kind of pushing where I wasn't, where it just wasn't in an alignment. And I think that happens to a lot of us. And I think that's easy for that to happen to a lot of us when we want something so badly. Mm-hmm. Because we just, we feel like if we want it bad enough and if we work hard enough, then that's going to bring it to us. And if you are a match for it, it might still come to you, but not in the way that you wanted because you didn't do the groundwork first.
Exactly.
And so, yeah. So now I'm, instead of hanging out in resistance and trying to push, I've gone into more of a passive, behind the scenes level of work, where a lot of the manifestation work that we do isn't through the actual tasks that we do or how hard we work. A lot of it's the inner work. And I think that in this society we just get so used to, we're told that we have to work hard, and so that's what we think the first thing to do is. But it's both. It's definitely both. The inner work and the work that's done behind the scenes is far more important, and self-care is far more important than people like to admit. And I think that, especially when you're trying to hold frequencies that are above and higher than something you've ever held before, those that inner work is even more important than the aligned action that you take. And it has to come first. And so that might look like applying for a bunch of jobs. You know, maybe it looks like applying for something that you don't think that you're qualified for. But, I mean, well, I hope nobody gets mad at me about this, but like, look at Donald Trump. He became president and he wasn't qualified at all. So, like, there you go. He's actually one of the greatest examples of how the law of attraction works, because that man believes stuff that's not even anywhere close to true, but because he believes it so much that he gets other people to believe him, and then they actually wind up creating some things that, and he's done it throughout his life. That's how he's successful, which is interesting. Fascinating. Yeah. You know, I think I've heard Abraham Hicks say that. I think that Esther said that, and I find that fascinating.
One of the things that you said was, was about your health. About when, like I was saying earlier. Let me get back to that point. The fire's getting.
It's really hot. I gotta back up.
It's getting hot. When just as the opposite to what I was saying earlier. You know, if you bring something in that is below your frequency, it's going to bring you pain. It's going to bring you discomfort, and eventually you're going to want to.
Oh, you mean like a person? Like a relationship with somebody who might not be ready for a relationship.
It could be maybe being in some type of poverty. It could be about being around toxic relatives. It could be about
who you spend time with is really important because your energies are match. People's energies match.
It vibrate from the inside out. You're
Hi, Kelly.
I'm better than this. I can do more than this. More than what I'm doing now.
But the longer you spend time with people like that, the lower your frequency is going to get, even if you try hard for it not to happen.
It will bring you down, which is why you feel that urge for fight or flight to escape it.
It's a true story.
Now, opposite to that, let's use, we were talking about this earlier, you and I, people who win the lottery.
We were talking to Jessica about this earlier, yeah.
People who win the lottery. Now, if you are the kind of person who wins the lottery and you get asked that question, what are you going to do with all that money? And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to get myself a couple of new cars. I'm going to get a big house right by the beach. Maybe I'll get a second house somewhere. And you're material. So you're using material to accommodate more material, which basically this wealth is, in a sense, a blessing. It's meant to...
Well, wealth on that level is spiritual.
Improve your life. And if you don't know how to improve your life with that type of abundance, then you're telling the universe that all you want to do is temporarily satisfy your needs with other material things by using material wealth. And that's not growing you. That's just expanding your possession of material things. So material, what you, I guess, would consider necessities. But
that's the thing, though. They're not necessities.
They're not.
And so I believe that the earth provides the necessities. And I do believe that, like, it is a mindset in a lot of ways and programming in a lot of ways that keeps us from living when we don't have anything, that keeps us from being able to... Mom, I'm on a live. Thanks. She opens the door and starts yelling. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. What are you doing, Kingston? Are you yelling at Grandmom? That's my kitty cat. And that's why my mom's yelling, because he's probably standing there hollering, and then he wanted to go out the door. Where are you going, Kingston? Anyway. Yeah, I lost my train of thought because,
it's okay.
Distraction.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But, like, the way that I see, I'm not saying that everybody has to do what I do or what somebody else does. There's all kinds of ways to improve yourself through...
There are many, many paths.
Abundance. But if you take time to consider, how can I use wealth to benefit not my current situation, my living condition, I can now move from lower class to middle class, or depending on how much you win, I guess, like I said, in the lottery,
How can you use it to invest in your future?
How can you use it to improve yourself? What kind of life do you want to have? Do you want your life to be about finding peace, or do you want it to be about living large, living loud, living in the fast lane?
And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to work your way up to that, I think, if you want that.
I'm not saying that there's something wrong with it, but if
some people are capable of holding that.
If that's not where you're meant to be. See, it's all about feeling where you're meant to be. If you're not ready for it, you're not going to be able to do it. Something that you are not. If you want to pretend to be someone that you are not, you admire somebody like maybe a celebrity icon. You're like, I love the way they live with the motorcycles, and but if that's not you, but because you are inspired to be something like that, but deep inside that's not you, then you're not going to match the frequency with providing yourself with that type of lifestyle you're trying to mimic.
That brings me back to the whole listening to source.
Yes.
The whole listening
to
to your inner being.
Yes.
That whole foundational work that has to be done in order to manifest anything on any kind of consistent basis is that deep inner work, where it's not that you're just trying to that you just change and rewrite your beliefs. You convince yourself, you change and you rewrite your beliefs by doing shadow work or, other psychological types of tools that you could use to rewrite your beliefs. You can, affirmations help if you do the deeper work first. But it's more than that. It is trying to find the path of least resistance. It is when you feel frustrated or when you feel like pushing something or when something's not getting done quick enough or it's not happening fast enough or it's not happening in the way you wanted to. When you get frustrated, you have to just, as soon as you start to get frustrated, this is what I didn't do the last time, you have to just let go. Like, okay, that's it. I don't have control. Spirit has the wheel. And so, because it's all about how you feel. And if you were trying to push against something, you're only going to cause more of what you're pushing against. And so if you are fighting the slow movement of something that you want, or, if it's not going in the way you want, force is not going to get you there. It's the surrender. Mm-hmm. It's the surrender and it's the self-care. And it's the acceptance and the allowing of things to just be. Because when you can quiet yourself down and stop pushing against and begin to allow, that's when Spirit talks to you. And that's where you get those amazing ideas of what the next step is. And if we're resisting, we don't hear Spirit. And so we can't get the aligned actions from Spirit. Well, it'll always be from the head if we're resisting. It'll be what we think is supposed to happen next. It won't be what we feel or what we got from a Spirit that needs to be next. Exactly. And there's a difference. There's a difference between what should be next and what your head tells you should do next, and the nudges that you get from Spirit. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And so that's why I do a whole lot of the ceremony, the ritual, the shamanic work, the healing stuff, because that's what those tools are for. That's what got me to here. That's what's going to get me to the next step too.
Yep. And that whole thing with what you just said, by nobody knows what they need. Nobody really ever knows what they need. I mean, like, it takes time to know what you need. Mm-hmm. But even when you know what you need, it may still only come as what you think that you want. It can come as a disguise of some sort, which is why it's very important to let go of expectations.
Well, you know why? Another reason why? There's a lot of good reasons why, but you want to know a really good one why that I figured out recently, again, for like the 12th time, is that you don't know what's going to be best. And things that look like huge mistakes and big obstacles in the road are usually, actually, I'm going to correct myself, they're always the stepping stone to the next step. They're always what's necessary. So it's like, oh, I made a mistake, or I screwed up, things aren't going the way I wanted them to go, they aren't going the way I expected them to go. Wait, time out. I'm not the one leading the show. Spirit's leading the show. Anything that happens from here on out is meant to happen, and I have to learn from it, because I obviously need to learn whatever lessons is teaching me to get to where I want to get. And that's the thing, I think that when we have wishes and we have desires, that we have an idea in our mind of what it's going to look like, and no one wants to face the adversity and the stops and the obstacles on the path. but they're on every path. And it takes failing and being willing to fail over and over again in order to succeed. If it was easy every time, we'd always would have what we want. Everyone would have what we want. We wouldn't even be sitting here having this conversation.
Yeah. So letting go of... Let me make this perfectly clear real quick, too. I've had some discussions within the past recent couple of weeks about desire. Some people...
Desire's not a bad thing.
No, desire is not a bad thing. As long as you don't allow your desire to overcome you. As long as you don't allow it to consume you. If you have a desire that consumes you, then it is a toxic desire. And it's not a toxic desire because of the thing that it is that you desire. It's because of what the desire, or what you allow the desire to do to you. And as long as you are able to desire without expectation, as long as you were able to desire without
attachment.
Yes, attachment. Then there's a harmonious balance there, and you're able to let it go. And we've talked about manifestation in the past, law of attraction, on how desire, seeing it and releasing it, is a huge part in the steps of law of attraction and manifestation. So it's all about finding balance within yourself.
Yes, it
to
is.
bring balance into your life.
Yes, it is. Because if you're playing tug of war with your desires and your attachments, then you're never going to get yourself emotionally and vibrationally to the place that you need to be to match your desires. And that's really what matters the most, is your emotions are going to be your greatest guide. If you don't feel good, that tells you right there that something's not right. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that most of us, we naturally will fight that. We'll try to hurry up and make it better, or let me just do the next thing. But that's not when we should be acting. That's when we should surrender.
And it's hard.
You have to do it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think it will always be a little difficult.
At first. It gets easier with time, just like with anything.
Well, yeah. And that's why I think it pays to be so intentional. Because if you forget to be intentional, you lose these skills pretty quickly. Because they were trained out of us young. Mm-hmm. This is our first nature. Being able to create in that way. It is first nature. You know, but they call things second nature that are taught to us because, yes, it was trained to us. So the second nature is what we are trained, is what's been trained to us by our society and by the world that we live in. And it's that first nature stuff that is so easy to forget, that's so easy to revert back to the program. And so that's why it's so freaking important to be intentional all the time and to keep reminding yourself to be intentional, because if you're not, you'll lose that. And then you got to start all over again. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation about manifestation. Really, it was about, but I mean, an abundance. It's about abundance. It's about financial abundance, but it's about all sorts of abundance and any kind of manifestation, any kind of intentional creation. And it doesn't matter what it is you're trying to call in. It all works the same.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't see if there's any comments, but I'm also on my phone on Facebook Live, and a lot of times I don't get to see the comments until after I get off of here. So I just want to apologize if
I can tell you.
somebody's talking and we didn't see it.
Let me check real quick for you.
If anyone's here still and you have any questions, please ask. We're not going to be on for much longer. It's
She said, yes, call it in and then let it go.
Yep.
100%. Call it in and let it go.
Letting go.
See it in your mind.
Trust.
And then put it out of your mind.
Trust source.
Trust source. And if it doesn't come, it just means that it wasn't meant for you. At least
or maybe not now.
Exactly.
Right.
See? You know, it's about finding...
We don't get to choose everything.
You don't.
We are not
We're
the creators. We are co-creators.
Co-creators. We only get what we are ready to have.
Yep.
And if we are not ready to have it, we will not get it. We feel maybe fundamentally that we are ready to have it, but
it may not even be meant for us, though.
Something beyond us, which is also is within us.
But I do believe satisfaction and comfort, and I think that that's available for everyone.
Absolutely.
If we can detach ourselves from these desires, from these burning desires.
I think that's where comfort lies, is in the process of seeing the harmony and letting go of what you want, because you know that might not be what you need. And if you don't need it, then you're not going. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't need it, then you're not going to get it. But you might get what you want in the way you didn't want it, but you will get it the way that you need it. And it's about finding harmony in the way of how you didn't expect it. And once you start letting go of expectations, it gets easier to go along with the flow of what you are receiving in your life, because then you will find the most abundance within yourself, intrinsically rather than extrinsically.
Well, absolutely, I totally agree with you. It's one of those things where, like, if you just let go and you allow spirit, and you're always in a state of receiving and listening, then you get what you wanted in the long run. Because I think a lot of us forget when we say, I want this, I want that, and there's a thing or some kind of specific outcome at the end of that. It's not that specific outcome or that specific thing necessarily that we're looking for. It's the feeling that we think we're going to have when we get it. And you can get that feeling without that thing if you just allow spirit to live through you and to channel through you and to just be your guide.
Right.
And that's where the magic is.
There were two types of satisfaction. One is temporary. The universe is always going to push for the one that is not temporary.
And so here, if you had gotten what you wanted, you may have just gotten an impermanent fix. Something that might have made you feel good in the moment, but wasn't going to be lasting. And so if you just allow spirit, sometimes you might have to wait a little longer and things may not go how you imagined. But I think in the long run, we wind up more satisfied. Anyway.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Fun.
Thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. Say goodnight, Michael.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And
thank you for joining us around our little fire. We're going to do this more often now that the weather's getting better. We'll bring you guys out here for a fire every Monday night. What do you guys think? Do you like that idea? Let us know. Give us feedback. Feel free to ask questions. And, if we don't see you guys in the group in the week, then we will see you guys next Monday. Have a nice evening.
Peace and love.